Episode 8, The Coalition. Katherine spent the next 2 hours in her office with James Rivera, and it was the most honest conversation she'd had since becoming CEO. He didn't pull punches. When she outlined her plan to increase staffing by 12%, he pointed out that hiring numbers meant nothing if the company culture remained toxic. When she mentioned improved training programs, he reminded her that flight attendants already knew how to do their jobs. What they needed was management that supported them instead of second-guessing every decision. The problem isn't that we don't know how to serve customers, James said, leaning forward in his chair. The problem is that we're set up to fail. You want an example? Last month, corporate sent down a mandate that we had to upsell premium seats on every flight. Not suggest. Upsell. They tied our performance reviews to conversion rates. Katherine felt her stomach tighten. I didn't authorize that. Pemberton did, through the VP of Customer Experience, who reported it as a revenue optimization initiative. It's in the Q3 operational directives. James pulled out his phone and scrolled through something. Here's the exact wording. Flight attendants are expected to identify and convert a minimum of 2 economy passengers per flight to premium upgrades, with monthly performance tracking beginning October 1st. Katherine stopped herself. She'd been about to say it was absurd, but the truth was worse than that. It was exactly the kind of metric-driven mandate that made sense in a boardroom and created hell on the ground. That policy is rescinded, effective immediately. That's one policy, James said. There are hundreds like it. The baggage fee structure that punishes gate agents for customer complaints. The scheduling system that doesn't account for delays, so crew members get written up for circumstances beyond their control. The customer service scripts that force representatives to blame computer systems instead of admitting when the company screwed up. Katherine was taking notes, her pen moving rapidly across the legal pad. I need all of this documented. Every policy, every metric, every mandate that's making it impossible for you to do your jobs. That's going to be a long list. I don't care how long it is. I need to know what I'm fighting. She looked up at him. And I need your help to fight it. James studied her for a long moment. You're serious about this? I survived a vote of no confidence by 2 votes, Katherine said bluntly. Pemberton and Westfield are actively working to undermine me. I've got 2 weeks to prove that investing in employees is more profitable than cutting costs, and if I fail, they'll remove me and implement the 8% reduction anyway. So yes, I'm serious. Because if I don't succeed, everyone loses. What do you need from me? I need you to put together a coalition, Katherine said. Flight attendants, gate agents, customer service reps, pilots, mechanics, people who know what's actually broken and how to fix it. I need their input, their expertise, and their willingness to help me rebuild this company from the inside out. James was quiet for a moment. You know what you're asking, right? Most of these people have been burned by corporate promises before. They're not going to trust you just because you spent a week pretending to be one of us. I know, Katherine said. That's why I need you to vouch for me. You don't trust me either, not completely, but you're here, which means you think there's at least a chance I'm telling the truth. I'm here because I'm tired, James said quietly. I'm tired of watching good people quit because they can't take it anymore. I'm tired of apologizing to passengers for things that aren't my fault. I'm tired of being treated like I'm disposable. He met her eyes. If you're offering a real chance to change things, I'll help you. But if this turns out to be another PR stunt, another corporate initiative that sounds good in a press release but changes nothing on the ground, then you'll have every right to call me out, Katherine finished, publicly, to the Times, to anyone who'll listen. I'll put that in writing if you want. James almost smiled. You really are different from Pemberton. That's a low bar. Fair point. James stood up. I'll talk to people, but I'm not making any promises about how many will show up. That's all I'm asking. After James left, Katherine spent another hour reviewing the operational directives he'd mentioned. The more she read, the angrier she became. Every policy was framed in the language of efficiency and customer satisfaction, but the actual effect was to squeeze more work out of fewer people while creating impossible standards that set employees up for failure. Her phone buzzed. "Sarah, Detective Ramirez is here," her assistant said, "about the passenger assault." Katherine closed her eyes briefly. She'd been expecting this. "Send him in." Detective Michael Ramirez was in his early 40s, with the weathered look of someone who'd spent too many years dealing with the worst of humanity. He declined coffee and got straight to business. "Ms. Morrison, I understand you witnessed the incident on Flight 2847 where passenger Trevor Whitmore assaulted flight attendant James Rivera." "I did. Can you walk me through what you saw?" Katherine recounted the incident in detail. The meal shortage, Whitmore's escalating aggression, the moment he grabbed James's wrist. She didn't mention that she'd been undercover at the time. That detail wasn't relevant to the assault. "And you're willing to testify if this goes to trial?" "Absolutely," Ramirez made a note. Mr. Whitmore's attorney is claiming his client was provoked by inadequate service and discrimination. They're suggesting the airline deliberately shorted first-class meals to justify upselling food to premium passengers. Katherine felt her jaw tighten. That's absurd. The meal shortage was the result of catering miscommunication, not deliberate policy. "Can you prove that?" "I can provide documentation of the catering order, the delivery manifest, and the investigation we conducted afterward." Katherine paused. "But I should tell you, the shortage happened because we've been cutting costs in catering services. We switched to a cheaper vendor 3 months ago, and quality control has been inconsistent. That's not an excuse for assault, but it's context." Ramirez looked at her with something like respect. Most CEOs wouldn't admit that. Most CEOs haven't spent a week experiencing their own company's failures firsthand, Katherine said. "The meal shortage was our fault. Whitmore's decision to physically assault a crew member was his. Both things can be true." "Your honesty is noted." Ramirez stood up. "We'll be in touch about testimony. For what it's worth, Mr. Rivera speaks highly of you. Says you're trying to fix things." "Trying is the operative word," Katherine said. "Whether I succeed is still an open question." After Ramirez left, Katherine turned to her computer and began drafting an email to the board. She needed to document her reform plans before Pemberton could spin them as reckless or financially irresponsible. But as she typed, her office door opened without a knock. Marcus Westfield walked in, followed by Richard Pemberton. "We need to talk," Westfield said, closing the door behind them. Katherine saved her document and turned to face them. "About? About the fact that you're making promises you can't keep," Pemberton said. He dropped a printed article on her desk. "The Times ran a teaser this morning. Skyward CEO promises exclusive interview on industry practices. You committed us to a major media interview without board approval." "I committed myself to an interview," Katherine corrected. "I'm the CEO. I don't need board approval to talk to the press." "You do when what you say could affect stock prices," Westfield said. "And you especially do when you're on probation. That vote of confidence wasn't a victory, Katherine. It was a warning. You're one misstep away from removal." Katherine stood up, matching Westfield's aggressive posture. "Is that a threat?" "It's a reality check," Pemberton said. "You've been back one day, and you're already making unilateral decisions that could have serious consequences. The staffing increase you're proposing will cost $43 million annually. That comes straight out of operating margin. It's an investment that will pay for itself through improved customer satisfaction and reduced turnover costs," Katherine said. "I have the analysis." "You have projections based on assumptions," Pemberton interrupted. "I have hard numbers based on 15 years of operational data. Cost reduction works. Employee satisfaction initiatives don't move the needle on profitability." "Because we've never actually tried them," Katherine shot back. "We've done surface-level programs that check boxes without changing anything substantive. I'm talking about fundamental reform." "Fundamental reform is code for expensive experiments," Westfield said. "The board isn't going to support that. You've got 2 weeks to show results, and I'm telling you right now, hiring more people and raising wages isn't going to impress anyone." Katherine felt the anger rising in her chest, but she forced herself to stay calm. What would impress the board? "Revenue growth," Pemberton said immediately. "Customer acquisition, market share gains, operational efficiency improvements that don't require massive capital investment. In other words, Metrics that look good on a quarterly report but don't address the underlying problems. In other words, results that matter to shareholders, Westfield said. You seem to have forgotten who you work for, Katherine. It's not the employees. It's not the customers. It's the people who own this company. And if the company collapses because we've hollowed it out from the inside, Katherine asked, what happens to shareholder value then? That's a hypothetical, Pemberton said dismissively. The immediate reality is that you're burning through political capital at an unsustainable rate. The board meeting was contentious, but you could have smoothed things over by showing some flexibility. Instead, you're doubling down on expensive reforms and committing to media interviews that could backfire spectacularly. The Times interview is happening, Katherine said flatly, and the reforms are happening. You gave me 2 weeks. I'm using them. Westfield's expression hardened. Then you'd better hope your gamble pays off, because if it doesn't, we'll have your resignation letter drafted before you can pack your office. After they left, Katherine sat down heavily in her chair. Her hands were shaking, not from fear, but from the effort of controlling her temper. Westfield and Pemberton weren't just opposing her reforms, they were actively sabotaging her credibility. Her phone buzzed. Sarah, again. James Rivera is back, her assistant said. He's brought some people with him, says you'll want to meet them. Katherine's pulse quickened. Send them in. James entered first, followed by 5 others. Katherine recognized 2 of them from the diner. Elena Vasquez, the gate agent, and Marcus Thompson, the customer service supervisor. The other 3 were new. A pilot in his 50s with captain's stripes, a young woman in mechanic's coveralls, and an older man who carried himself with the quiet authority of a union representative. Katherine Morrison, James said formally, meet your coalition. The pilot extended his hand first. Captain Robert Chen, 28 years with Skyward, 18 as captain. I'm here because I'm tired of being pressured to cut corners on safety. The mechanic was next. Angela Martinez, 7 years in maintenance. I'm here because I'm tired of being told to sign off on inspections I haven't completed. The union rep was last. Thomas Okonkwo, IML Local 1943. I'm here because my members are drowning and corporate doesn't seem to care. Katherine felt something shift in her chest. The same feeling she'd had when James had finally agreed to help. Not quite hope, but maybe the possibility of it. Thank you for coming, she said. I know you don't have any reason to trust me, but I'm asking you to give me a chance to prove that I'm serious about fixing what's broken. Elena Vasquez spoke up, her voice skeptical but not hostile. James says you went undercover, that you saw what it's really like. I did, Katherine said, and what I saw made me ashamed of what this company has become. Words are easy, Thomas Okonkwo said. Action is hard. What are you actually going to do? Katherine pulled up the document she'd been drafting. I'm going to implement immediate policy changes in 15 areas, starting with the ones causing the most harm. I'm going to increase staffing by 12%. I'm going to raise wages for frontline workers. And I'm going to restructure the executive compensation system so that bonuses are tied to employee satisfaction and customer service metrics, not just financial performance. The board will never approve that, Captain Chen said. They don't have to, Katherine said. I have executive authority to implement operational changes. The compensation restructuring will require board approval, but the rest I can do unilaterally. And when they fire you? Angela Martinez asked. Then at least I'll have tried, Katherine said, and you'll have documentation of every policy change, every initiative, every attempt to fix things. That's ammunition for the union, for media, for the class action lawsuit. Even if I fail, you'll be in a stronger position to fight. The group exchanged glances. Finally, Thomas Okonkwo nodded. All right, he said, we'll help you. But we're not doing this blind. We want regular updates, transparent decision-making, and a seat at the table when policies are being developed. Done, Katherine said immediately. And if you screw us over, Elena added, we'll make sure everyone knows. I'd expect nothing less, Katherine said. James smiled, the first genuine smile she'd seen from him. Welcome to the revolution, boss. They spent the next 3 hours in Katherine's conference room, going through policy by policy, identifying the changes that would have the most immediate impact. Captain Chen detailed the pressure pilots faced to minimize fuel costs, even when it meant cutting safety margins thin. Angela Martinez described the maintenance backlogs that were being hidden through creative paperwork. Thomas Okonkwo provided union data showing that employee grievances had increased by 47% in the last 2 years, with resolution rates dropping to nearly zero. By the time they finished, Katherine had a list of 23 immediate action items and a timeline for implementation. It was aggressive, maybe too aggressive, but it was real. As the group was leaving, James hung back. "You know they're going to fight you every step of the way," he said quietly. "Pemberton, Westfield, the board, they're not going to let you dismantle their system without a war." "I know," Katherine said, "but at least now I'm not fighting alone." James nodded slowly. "No, you're not." After everyone left, Katherine returned to her office to find an email waiting from Patricia Hughes, the board member who'd supported her during the vote. "Katherine, I heard about your meeting with Westfield and Pemberton. Be careful. They're building a case against you, documenting every decision, every statement, every expenditure. They're going to use your 2-week probation period to gather ammunition for your removal. You need allies on the board, and right now you only have 3 solid votes. Mine, Rodriguez's, and Kim's. That's not enough. Westfield controls 6 votes, maybe 7. If he moves for another confidence vote before your 2 weeks are up, you'll lose. Watch your back." Katherine stared at the email, feeling the weight of what she'd started settling onto her shoulders. She'd declared war on the system that had built Skyward into a profitable company, and that system was fighting back. Her phone buzzed one more time. Sarah. "The Times just called," her assistant said. "They want to move up the interview. They've received leaked documents about the board meeting and the vote of confidence. They're asking if you want to comment before they run the story." Katherine closed her eyes. Westfield. It had to be. He was trying to control the narrative before she could tell her side. "Tell them I'll do the interview tomorrow," Katherine said. "And Sarah, get me everything we have on board procedures for removal of a CEO. I need to know exactly what they can and can't do." "You think they're going to try?" "I think they already are," Katherine said. "And I need to be ready." That night, Katherine stayed in her office until nearly midnight, reviewing bylaws and corporate governance documents. The rules were clear. The board could remove a CEO with a 2/3 majority vote at any regular or special meeting, provided proper notice was given to all board members. Westfield had 9 votes if he could hold his coalition together. He needed 12 for 2/3. Patricia's email said Katherine had 3 solid votes, which meant there were 6 swing votes in play. 6 board members who could decide whether Skyward continued down the path of cost-cutting and quarterly profits or took a chance on something different. Katherine pulled up the board roster and started making notes. Jennifer Walsh, the former airline executive who'd abstained from the confidence vote. David Park, the private equity representative who voted against her but seemed uncomfortable doing it. Christine Blackwood, the customer service expert who'd asked pointed questions during the meeting. These were her targets. If she could convince even 2 of them, she'd have enough votes to survive another challenge. But convincing them meant proving that her reforms worked, and proving that meant implementing them successfully despite active opposition from the CFO and half the board. Katherine looked at the framed photo on her desk, her parents, both educators, at her college graduation. They'd taught her that leadership meant doing the right thing even when it was hard, even when it cost you. She hoped they'd been right, because tomorrow she was going to bet her entire career on it.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.